Hello, my name is Evie, and today I would like to discuss with you the highly controversial topic of abortion. This is a topic that is very prevalent right now and a subject of discussion that everyone seems to have a strong opinion about. The recent passing of the beloved Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg could possibly result in the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was a landmark Supreme Court decision in 1973 that protects a woman's right to choose whether to have an abortion or not without restrictions. Abortion is an issue that has long been debated by American politics, by American politicians and the American people. It's an issue that could have a multitude of effects on women, whether it's readily available or not. To fully understand the concept of abortion, it is important to look at three main things: who has abortions and why it's so controversial, and how we can ensure the safety and morality regarding abortions. Let's take a look at who has abortions in the United States. So, according to Rachel Jones and Jenna German at the Guttmacher Institute in New York, nearly 1 in 4 women in the United States will have an abortion by age 45. These women represent all ethnicities and all religious affiliations, and they're choosing to end their pregnancies for a range of reasons. This could include interference with their education or their work, they're just not ready to have a child, or they don't feel mature enough to have a child. And for 23% of these women, the main reason is financial, according to Guttmacher Institute. In fact, 1/4 are at 200% or more of the federal poverty line. These women face a major disadvantage when it comes to unintended pregnancies, and according to UMass Med News, women living in poverty have a rate of unintended pregnancies 5 times higher than those with middle or high incomes. Unequal access to contraceptives and lack of education are the main culprits. Still, the United States is seeing some improvement. According to the CDC, teen birth rates have dropped 7%, due largely to more teens abstaining from sex and using contraceptives. When discussing abortion statistics, it is important to note the portion of abortions that are a result of rape or incest. Now, Guttmacher Institute data finds that 1% of abortions are performed as a result of rape, and 0.5% are due to incest. And another 7% of abortions can be attributed to health-related issues of the mother or the fetus. Now let's take a look at some of the legal issues that surround abortion. Since Roe v. Wade in 1973, states have worked to restrict access to abortion in several ways. State legislation ranges from restrictions on abortion providers, mandatory ultrasounds, waiting periods, personhood measures, and others. The Georgia Heartbeat Bill in 2019 represents one example of a personhood measure. This bill would criminalize abortion once a fetal heartbeat was detected, which typically occurs around the 6th week of pregnancy, a time when a woman may not even be aware that she's pregnant. Many people, including myself, spoke out about the bill, and it was struck down by a federal judge and never put into effect. Abortion may be legal in all states. However, some access issues still persist, including restrictions on Title X, which is a federal grant program that provides affordable birth control and reproductive health care to people of low income. In the past several years, the issue of abortion has become a polarizing one in American politics, to say the least. And both Democrats and Republicans have leveraged this issue of abortion in their platforms. Republicans court pro-life voters, casting abortion as a moral issue, while Democrats court pro-choice voters, casting abortion as a healthcare issue. These are two very different sides, so you can see how they would easily clash. And a demographics table on Gallup News displays that 48% of US adults are pro-choice, while 46% are pro-life. The pro-choice argument is that women have a right to choose when to start a family and to have autonomy over their bodies. And the pro-life advocates assert that life begins at fertilization and that abortion is in almost all circumstances murder. It's easy to see how these conflicting views prompt emotional responses on both sides. You could turn on any news outlet to hear the emotional rhetoric around the abortion debate. This upcoming election could impact abortion access for decades to come due to a conservative Supreme Court and potential state legislation that would restrict a woman's access to have an abortion. So now we can ask ourselves, is there a way to bring both sides together? Researchers at the Bulletin of the World Health Organization suggest that in order for abortions to be safe, it is necessary for them to be legal. Now, 13% of maternal mortality is due to unsafe abortions. Is it possible to find common ground in preventing unplanned pregnancies? And I say that certainly there is, due to Title X funding, education, family planning, and insurance coverage of contraceptives are all opportunities to prevent unplanned pregnancies. In the most recent data from the CDC regarding abortion safety found that only 2 deaths were a result of complications from a legally induced abortion. The CDC is clear on this. Increasing access to and use of effective contraception can reduce unintended pregnancies and further reduce the number of abortions. Based on available data, it appears the pro-life movement is less driven by scientific evidence and more on conviction about when life begins. So where do we go from here? How do we have the conversations that are respectful, where facts along with values are acknowledged? It won't be easy, but unless we start having real dialogues with the purpose of finding common ground, we are still, as Americans, going to be worlds apart. Until we find some solutions, the issue of abortion is still going to define our politics, and wherever the conversations are happening, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, women need to drive the conversation. Thank you.